Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, welcome to the comedy extravaganza that is The Adventures of E. Strap yourselves in because in this podcast we dive into hilarious personal stories, mishaps, and everyday life. From the awkward encounters at the grocery store to trying to adult in a world that seems determined to trip us up at every turn. So whether you're listening during your commute or just kicking back with a cup of coffee, get ready to laugh until your sides hurt. Here's your host, Elissa.
Well, everybody, we are back again. This time I'm doing the introductions because my lovely wife has requested that I do so. Hey, everybody. Say hi.
Hello, everybody.
So wanted to say thanks, everybody, for listening, tuning in, liking the Facebook page, doing all those things. We really, really do appreciate it. I think this week is going to be a little bit more in depth. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into some different things.
Yes.
So I am just going to step back and be that lovely color commentary and hand it over to the star of the show, Elissa.
Dun, dun, dun. Star of the show. Please get out of here. Anyway, well, so I've done a lot of soul searching since last week.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really listened to the podcast back until recently, and I listened to the most recent one, and I kind of listened to myself, and I really censored myself a lot.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about this, I'm pretty sure in the first episode, I want to be completely open and honest and just unapologetically me, and that's not kind of what's not been happening.
Right, yeah.
And I wanted to explain that and apologize because that's not what I'm here for.
Well, and, I would say you wouldn't necessarily need to apologize. It's, this is a growing learning experience. It's something that you're not going to know exactly what to do right from the get-go because you've never done it before.
Right. Well, that's true, too.
So, and, when we talked about starting this, you shared concerns. Because we're in two very different industries. I'm in a media-based industry where, what I talk about for the most part really doesn't matter. But obviously, you're in a healthcare industry that could be judgmental depending on the employer and those types of things. So you wanted to just kind of be mindful, but at the same time, you're also not mindful with who you are, how you are when you're at work.
Right.
You're just unapologetically you, so.
But also, not just at work. It's also in my everyday life. Mm-hmm. So, folks, this is a general breakdown. I kind of wanted to talk about some trauma and how that translates into my dark humor, which, I promise will come out on the other side. And there is a hilarious, honest-to-God, funny, truly funny, but traumatizing story to share. So it does come back around. I promise.
Circle back.
Oh, God. I became the circle back gal.
Yep, you're circling back. I love it.
You're only busting me because I did it to you.
Yep.
Ugh, what's it feel to be married to the circle back girl?
I don't know. I'm digging it. We're two peas in a pod. Literally in a podcast.
Listen to the dad joke.
Dad joke.
For days. Oh, God.
You're welcome.
So, excuse me. I really kind of wanted to start out. I'm not going to start out, from the day of conception.
Well, yeah, that might be a little awkward.
Yeah, that's long story long.
Yeah.
I'm really trying not to do that. So I'm going to go with the most probably personality changing moments in my life that are, as I see, are relevant.
Okay, fair enough.
When I was 14, my mom left. No joke, in the middle of the night. And 2 months later, my dad suddenly died, out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
From then on, I became an orphan. And my grandmother stepped in to raise me from there on out, who was truly, for the lack of better words, an extremely religious person, which there's nothing wrong with that, but the most extreme of the extreme. I'm not going to call out any one religion, but it's a very strict religion where there's no TVs, you don't wear pants, you don't wear makeup, you don't celebrate.
You don't wear pants?
They don't wear pants.
Like I can walk around without pants on all the time?
No, like women don't wear pants.
Oh, shit. Oh,
They wear
okay.
long sleeves. They don't cut their hair, wear makeup, celebrate holidays.
Hmm.
So that's kind of where I came from. I was allowed to wear pants, and I did kind of fly off the handle in high school and chop off all of my hair.
Well, you know.
We all have those.
Have to
moments.
rebel.
A lot, yeah. So, like we talked previously about, I was not even allowed to say the word fart. Like, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
If that gives you any type of idea of how I grew up. On top of that, it was a very strict lifestyle, a very strict cleaning schedule, a very just strict life as a whole.
Right.
I was a very good kid, honestly. Truly, I was.
What the hell happened?
Well, what had happened was...
What had happened was...
I got out on my own.
Right.
No, so along the way, I've lost family members to death or who have just like went MIA. My mom, Brenda, as we jokingly call her, came back into my life like I think 10 years later. And it wasn't like she came back in my life and I was like, oh, mommy, I'm so happy. Like, that's weird anyway. But I called her Brenda for 2 years, like almost as a punishment.
But were you doing it consciously or subconsciously, do you think?
It was conscious at first, and then it just kind of became like...
Just stuck.
Yeah, and then finally one day I made a conscious effort to call her mom because she did become a very different person. Like, when my mom left, it was heartbreaking. Like, I won't lie to you. It was gut-wrenching. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's not even a feeling I can explain to you. But I try to tell everybody, we do not shy away from mental health, Jason nor I, or in our family or anything like that. When my mom left, I truly felt, or I feel now, like later on, as I grew older, that her leaving was probably truly was one of the best things she could have done for me because of her mental health.
Right.
And it took me a long time to get there. Like, I'm no Gandhi. I mean, I can be a petty Betty for sure, but like I do have a lot of forgiveness to give.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's not something you would necessarily understand at that young of an age either.
No, but I do remember, not that I am like some philosophical genius.
Philosophical?
Is that how I said it?
No.
Okay.
I'm just messing
I
with
really
you.
thought I did. And I was like,
No.
oh man, I was really trying to.
Nope, I'm just messing with you.
No, I think I was about 15 years old and somebody was like, I can't remember if it was an adult or like a parent of a friend or a friend. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But they said to me, like, how can you forgive her if she ever wanted you? Or like, how can you not hate her? Like, as of right now, something along those lines. And I remember saying, hate and anger like that is like for me to drink the poison and wait for her to die. Like, it didn't affect her.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Didn't affect her life, but it was sure as heck affecting mine.
Right.
So that's kind of how I looked at life. But growing up, I have always wanted to just make my grandma so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for a very long time. And then it all exploded in a divorce.
Yeah.
And that's really when things changed. And then when you and I got married, a little while after that, Mom came to live with us. And then she just never left, which that was a conscious choice between all parties involved. Because we truly don't know how we would operate on a daily basis without her.
Well, I mean, it takes a village, and that kind of mindset in modern times has really gone away.
Yeah. And she has been a lifesaver in more than one cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, she's helped with, dogs over the years when we've had, raised pups and, or, obviously helping with, all that other stuff.
Man-child.
Yep.
Helping with the man-child. Well, not just that, but she's cooked dinners for us when we've had really late work nights. She's done my laundry more times than I can count, especially my scrubs when I pick up extra. Like, she really just I can't imagine living everyday life without her. Truly, I can't.
Right.
And nor could she with us. So she's just been with us since then. And when I tell people when they first meet me, like, give them that really, like, narrated version there,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, your mom lives with you? Yeah. And I jokingly say, we gave her the master bedroom. But that's just really because of safety hazards.
Yeah, we don't want her walking up and down the stairs in the middle of the night.
No, and she really felt guilty for a long time, so I joked about it until she didn't feel guilty about it anymore.
Until she almost fell down the stairs one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, my mom even has my fucking master bedroom with a walk-in shower.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? And I'm like, it's just, she's my best friend.
You know, but the interesting thing is we're prepping for the future. It's ADA accessible. I mean, just pop her in a fucking wheelchair. Put her in the shower.
Oh, geez Louise. That is true. That is accurate.
I mean, and that was a happy accident.
Happy trees.
Yeah, happy trees, happy little accidents.
Happy little accidents, except for when you pee on yourself in the Dollar General.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Anyways, so my mom is my best friend now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can't imagine my life without her. She's honestly your best friend, too.
Yeah.
Don't lie. And she's one of those people, like, we can both tell her something that's happened, and she doesn't necessarily pick sides, but she will be 100% honest and tell you who she thinks is wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, it's not always Jason. He's not always the wrong one. She tells me when I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And I ask her to.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need that outsider set of eyes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. So that's kind of where we got. So there for a hot second, I was clamming up on our podcast. I caught myself a couple of times on the previous episode without saying certain words. You know, the first episode, I let it fly. It's already out there. But then I got worried. I got worried about embarrassing family.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been the black sheep. That's that's no joke. And I didn't want to embarrass them.
Right.
And I just think yesterday when I was listening to that, I really thought to myself, like, they know me in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am who I am.
Yeah.
I may censor subjects around family more so.
A little bit, yeah.
But I still...
Just out of respect more than anything else. Yeah,
but I'm still this quirky, hot mess, broke into Kohl's, and have broke bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just... They know me. So I do apologize to the 15 listeners that we have.
It's 16 now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
16.
We keep gaining one about every week or two.
At this rate, man, it's going to take forever. But anyways.
Shit'll buff out.
It really will. I apologize for censoring myself. And I didn't mean to, and I caught myself. Jason called me out on it as well. And I just wanted to address that elephant in the room. More so than anything.
Yeah.
But speaking of Brenda, I wanted to share some funny, dark, humorous stories about how she was as a mother, if you can imagine.
Now, before we get started, I am going to preface this by the fact that there are some things that you have told me, right? And that there are some things that you may not have remembered until you've started kind of this podcast and you know, reliving things and going down memory lane. So everybody listening, it could be a surprise. I could be hearing things for the very first time.
Well, and I actually do have a story for you at the end that you haven't heard of because the man-child called me last night and told me.
Okay.
So you are completely all hearing it for the first time.
I'm excited.
I can't believe I didn't wake you up. We were laughing so hard.
I know. I passed out way early last night.
Yes, and he was on speaker, and he was laughing so hard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then he was like, you know, Mom, I totally understand if you want to use this on your podcast. And I was like, buddy.
It's going.
It's happening anyway.
Yep, it's
whether
happening.
you had said yes or not.
Yeah, he's a minor. He doesn't have to give us permission. It's fine. He's our kid. Whatever.
I try not to be that big of an asshole, but yeah, it's all fair. He knows me well enough to know if he gives me something loaded like that, it's going to happen.
Yeah. So the good news is we're going to finish off the podcast with some fun. So
some story time.
So continue on with your stories.
Okay. So Brenda as a mother, as a little kid mom, I just want to paint a picture for everybody. I have a brother, biologically, who is 7 years older than myself. And let's just say growing up, he was the literal favorite child. Period. I ruined her life. Up to this point. Okay. If that explains anything.
Yeah.
So her and my brother, I will never forget, were like, oh my God, did you hear about? And, I, even as a child, was nosy AF. I'm the nosiest person you'll ever meet in your life, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that is true.
They knew they caught my attention. And they're like, yeah, you get this really terrible fever and you develop pink spots on your face and then you die. That's what I hear,
That's
right?
what lured you in. Just kind of,
yeah.
I'm going to go be nosy now.
So then I nonchalantly walked down the hallway like I didn't hear nothing. They knew. They fucking knew I heard.
Yeah.
So I went down for a nap. That's back in the day when I took a nap,
Back in the day, you still take fucking naps now.
Whenever I possibly can.
Right.
And I can get away with it.
Sleepy McGee over here.
Sleepiest girl and nosiest girl you'll ever meet.
Yep.
So anyway, you all know where this story is going. I wake up and they panic because I suddenly have pink spots on my face. And then I just remember screaming, am I going to die? I'm going to die, aren't I?
And they probably ran with it.
They were laughing hysterically. It felt like, 10 million years to me. I'm sure it was like 2 minutes.
Right. But when you're a kid, everything is like ridiculously long.
Yeah. And it, even now in my adult brain, still feels long. So maybe it really was a long period. I don't know.
Maybe it was.
But no, they finally let off that one and told me that it was a marker.
Oh.
They were very sweet.
So they waited until you went down for your nap and then marked up your face. And
yeah, Mom said, your brother went and got the marker. And I said, go do it. Oh, okay. Okay, Ricky Bobby.
But you got to give her credit, though. Because, she's all about having fun with the kids.
I just feel like when you're 5 or 6, death isn't necessarily the fun topic to be talking about.
I don't disagree. However, I will play devil's advocate in the fact that at that age, you don't necessarily understand what death is. You could to an extent, but maybe not to a complete extent.
I feel like I probably did just because I was a weird kid.
Well, everybody's different. I'm not saying that it's a finite, it has to be this way. I'm just saying that, when I was 5 or 6, I had a general idea of what it meant, but it wasn't, something that
you fully understood.
Yeah, fully understood or overtook my thought process.
And that's fair. But looking back as an adult now, I'm like, what a bunch of dicks.
Right. You're just like, God, they're such pieces of shit.
I should do that to my man-child. No.
Yeah.
I never did that to my child, I swear. I really didn't. The next one was the pretty epic one that they would do either sporadically.
Okay.
That was a big word. Or for like an entire day until my dad would get home, is they would completely pretend I was invisible.
Just completely, just like you don't exist.
Yeah, and I really thought they couldn't see me. To the point I would sit on the step and sob.
That's no good.
No.
That's
this explains so much now, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a little bit traumatic. I'll give that.
That's sweet of you. Thank you for getting me a checkpoint on that one.
Yeah, I'll give you a checkpoint on that one.
Yeah, they would do that to me all the time.
Now I would find it funny if it's a short-term thing, but if you're saying that they did it consistently for days.
I know at least once they did it for a full day.
Yeah.
That's the day I sobbed. Because I thought, oh my God, it's not going away.
Yeah.
I'm going to be invisible forever.
Yeah, the things we think when we're kids.
I know.
So gullible.
And that was around like the same age frame
Yeah.
that those two things happened.
Yeah.
Then, so we move into like my teenage years. So when my dad died,
Mm-hmm.
I was 14. And we were at the funeral for him. And I'll never forget. So one of my dad's brothers stood up next to the casket with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he had 2 kids, which were my cousins, obviously. And one of them was super young at the time. I want to say like he was 7 when my dad, it was around that kind of time frame.
Yeah, 6, 7 years old, that kind
Plus,
of thing.
he was always kind of like the comedian,
Right.
where I'm the black sheep. He was the comedian.
He just made the jokes whether they were funny or not.
Yeah, but they were funny because they were like at that point completely innocent.
Right.
And they were hilarious.
Yeah.
So we were standing up there, and I'll never forget my uncle who's standing next to me, his son, who's the comedian, walks up and goes, like, stands there for a couple minutes, maybe, and goes, "I win." And I just look over at him, and I'm like, like I'm not going to ask.
Yeah.
So his dad leans over, and he goes, You win what? And he goes, "I win." And he said, "You win what?" He goes, "Uncle George and I were having a staring contest, and I won." And then, like skipped away. His dad was mortified. And I remember standing there and just laughing uncontrollably because it was like in this super dark period of time.
Right. Super negative.
Like, this whole situation sucks. Nobody wants to fucking be there. I don't want to
Right.
fucking be there. Like, laughter literally was the best medicine. Like, I needed that laugh so bad.
Just the universe just dropped that bomb right in your lap right when you needed it.
That little baby Jesus bomb right there. Yeah.
Yeah. I win.
So that's, the dark humor developed.
Yeah.
And then we got the DDC, the Dead Dad Club, running joke. It goes on for days.
Yeah. Dead dad joke, dead baby joke. We got all kinds of things.
We got all kinds of inappropriate jokes.
Yes. Very inappropriate jokes.
Yeah. I apologize about some of those.
Well, no, I'm not going to apologize.
So, but I do want to tell you, it does come back around, I promise here. This was my funny, truly funny, I think,
Mm-hmm.
in a fucked up way, traumatic story. Sorry, guys, I had to itch my face. When I was 6 or 7, my brother, who, like I said, was 7 years older than me, bought us hamsters
Mm-hmm.
one year for Christmas. And it was like roughly 2 weeks before Christmas.
Okay.
That's back when you could buy pets at Walmart. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I bought pets at Walmart, like especially in like the fish department and
Well, these were hamsters.
yeah.
And
No. I remember those too.
Yeah, he bought the hamsters at Walmart, and they were an early Christmas gift, like from him to me and himself.
Right.
So I didn't know anything about a hamster. But anyway, mine was white, of course, and it was super fluffy and adorable and tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And his was tan and kind of round and chunky. And they were litter mates, I
Right.
guess. I don't really remember if that's true or if I made that up. But
Okay.
anyway, it
Well,
doesn't matter.
they were in the same cage together at Walmart, so we're
Yeah.
just gonna go with they were litter mates.
So then they stayed in the same cage at our house.
Right.
So, of course, being the basic bitch I am, my white hamster's name was Snowball.
Snowball.
Really, really unique there. But even worse was my brother's hamster. I believe his name was Teddy, and I think in real life, like, they're called a teddy bear hamster.
Teddy bear hamsters, yeah.
So, like, we were super original, just by the way.
Hey. But whatever works.
Basic to the core, man. To the hamster core.
Jesus.
So this was the first time we were ever allowed to have like an animal in the house because my dad was very against that.
Right.
Like, this was just a big deal all the way around.
Like
in our home.
like you guys had dogs, but they were outside dogs. Like they were
Yeah,
farm dogs.
because they were like farm dogs.
Yeah.
We didn't get an inside dog. I never got one until I became an adult and on my own.
Right.
So anyway, we big deal. We would get out blankets and they'd have little tunnels and like we played with them. We were like we handled them a lot. They
Yeah.
were really friendly, whatever. Christmas morning. I get up and the first thing I would do is their cage was in our our formal dining room that we never used.
Right.
I run in there to check on my hamster, and I shit you not, the head is on one side of the cage.
Oh.
And the body is on the other side of the cage.
Oh, okay.
And my brother's hamster is just sitting there.
Okay.
I start screaming.
Old Texas Chainsaw Massacre with hamsters.
Yeah, I like 6 years old.
Yeah.
I start screaming. I do remember I run in and I get my mom and dad and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "My hamster is dead and the head's on one side and the body's on the other." And they are laughing because they're like,
There's no way.
"There's no way she's made this up." Okay, there's no way. Get out of bed, saunter into the dining room. At this point, my brother gets up and joins the crowd. And there they see it. It's real life, folks. This was real life.
This is not a joke.
This was not a joke.
Not a drill, people.
And we're just standing there as a family on Christmas morning, staring at a decapitated hamster, just silently, in our pajamas.
You had that early moment of silence for
Yeah.
Snowball.
There was no gifts. Like, we didn't even talk about it for a little while because it gets worse.
I wonder how this could get worse. This is...
Well, just buckle up, Buttercup.
Yep.
So, clearly, there's something wrong with the hamster. It's nuts or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, my dad reaches in to get it, and it tries to bite him. And it had never done this before. I don't know what had happened. Hell, maybe it was possessed.
Yeah, maybe. Or just got rabies or something, or who knows.
Rabies. Anyway, so my dad picks it up, tries to bite him, whatever. My dad's like, "I'm so sorry, guys. If you have little children, turn back now." My dad's like, "We got to kill this little fucker. Like, there's clearly something wrong. We're going to have to get rid of it." And my brother's like, "What do you mean? Kill him?" And I'm like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah, demon hamster must die.
Yeah, I'm like, "What's happening? I'm here for it." Like, that was me as a kid.
Like,
And my brother's the one that's hysterical. Obviously, it's his hamster, but mine's decapitated.
yeah, you're just sitting there like, you will know my pain.
With my, what is that, heavy metal fist out.
Oh, yeah, heavy metal fist for days.
But no, I'm like, "I'm ready, Dad. I'll help you." No, so my dad...
Take it out back to the woodshed.
That's kind of what happened, actually.
Okay, all right, yeah. Called it.
So he yells, "Brenda, what are we going to put this hamster in?" She goes, "I don't fucking know." Like, they were Roseanne Barr
Yeah.
and Dan Connor. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So he goes, "Well, you got to bring me something." He goes, "We got to kill this fucker." She brings him, I shit you not, a Chinese takeout container.
Okay.
Like the box, the white box.
Yeah, the rice box.
Yeah. Take it out back. In the middle of winter, on Christmas Day still, no presents to be had. And my dad shoots it with a BB gun and kills it in the takeout container. We have a mini funeral right then and there.
Just a spot funeral.
Yep.
It's like you get married in Vegas by Elvis, you get buried in Vegas by Elvis.
That hamster had lived his 9 lives right then and there.
Right
You know
then
what I
and there.
mean?
Here you go.
So have a service for him. Here you go. And so he had been buried at some point. I don't know when my dad had buried him, but the way our property was the back half of it. Like, there was a steep, like, I don't want to say a cliff. It's not a cliff, but like a steep hill.
Yeah.
And it went down into like a creek.
Yeah.
But then it comes up on the other side of the
Another
property.
bank,
and
yeah.
but that is where they buried him, was next to where that steep, like, drop-off was.
Right.
My brother truly, hand to God, had nightmares about this hamster for the next year. Nightmares. He felt so guilty about it. He had nightmares about the hamster trying to eat him. Like, legit nightmares, right? I never gave it another thought. So, the gift that keeps on giving was the next year, something had happened. I don't know how it even got found. I don't know the pertinence. We'll have to ask Brenda herself at some point.
Yeah.
Because this was all her doing. The ground had eroded just enough that she saw that Chinese takeout container. And she did the unthinkable. They got the hamster out.
No.
Swear to Jesus, this part is true because I was there to watch it.
I'm just impressed that a year later, the Chinese takeout container was still intact.
Like, it was disintegrating.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But the hamster was frozen because, it was winter when we shot it. And it's like, I do remember its face was all like contorted and its paws were all like, looked like it had a seizure. It was very...
He was a little special.
It was very traumatizing. It was a very traumatizing visual aid, let me tell you. My mom and dad somehow attached that hamster to the window, to my brother's window outside.
No.
I swear, you can ask her yourself. Put this hamster on the outside of the window and started making scratching noises.
Oh, that's even better.
And hid under the window. I'm standing out in the middle of the yard watching it from back there, like just like a creeper.
Yeah.
Like a straight creeper.
Still, a year later, you were just like, you will know my pain.
No, not only that, but also like I'm nosy and I want to watch the whole thing.
Right.
He flips open his blind, sees that hamster, and thinks it's come back to haunt him. And that's what happened with the hamster. I've never had another hamster since.
So I will expand on that because I didn't have special hamsters like those, but I did have special hamsters in a different way. So we did the whole teddy bear hamster thing too. And, it was the first foray into animals. My parents didn't really want to have a dog.
This isn't like an Armageddon story, is it?
An Armageddon story?
Yeah, with the hamster in the butthole?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. God, no. That's disturbing.
I'll have to play it for you later. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, I panicked a little bit where this was going.
No. So we get a teddy bear hamster.
Mm-hmm.
And my dumbass as a child names him something completely stupid. I named him Tell him. Like, tell him something.
Tell me something good.
Yeah.
Ow.
But so I named him that, right? Had him for a little while. He commits suicide.
No.
He commits suicide. He stuffs his fucking mouth so full of like wood shavings and food and all this other stuff. He asphyxiates and gets stuck in a tube. And dies.
Ooh.
I was distraught.
I feel like as a hamster, like that's
not the way to go.
That is the worst way to go.
That is not the way to go. Now, because my parents actually felt like, okay, it wasn't my fault. I didn't mishandle it. It's not like I didn't take care of the animal. They were like, all right, we'll try it again. We'll get another one. So this time, I named it something even better.
Oh, God.
Tell him 2. I literally added a 2 to the end. That's how stupid I was as a kid.
You're like the worst namer
of
things
I know.
ever.
That's why I don't name things. Like, you know how people name their vehicles and shit like that? I don't do that.
I do.
I know you do.
I'm really, really bad about that.
Yeah, I know.
But you are the worst namer.
But back to the story, though. It happened again. The little bastard committed suicide in the same exact way.
At what point does it become you and not them?
You know, I feel like he had the food, he had the water, he just didn't have the will to
He
live
didn't have
anymore.
the common sense?
No, he didn't have the common sense. He was a dumb motherfucker. Now, I will say this. The second time around, I opted to create. I was in a ceramics class when I was a kid.
Oh, God. This is getting so weird.
And I made a coffin for him.
Oh, my God.
I made a little ceramic coffin for him.
You've never made one of those for me.
Why would I make a ceramic coffin for you? I'm not planning on you going anywhere.
But, like, something cool. Like to put jewelry in or something.
Oh, no, I just made you a tarot card box. Okay.
Oh, that is true.
Oh, yeah. How
forgot.
quickly we forget.
Okay, keep going. My God.
So, have the service, bury the little fucker, and then the 55-gallon aquarium that we had used to keep him in and with his tubes and all this other stuff. Then my parents allowed me to get fish.
Oh, God.
And then that's when I, started enjoying having fish as pets.
Until they all died when you married me.
Yes, you murdered them. I'm kidding.
I did not.
I'm kidding.
Ladies
I was at
and
work. I don't
gentlemen,
know.
I was at work too. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not murder those fucking fish. He got a random fish that he told me had the ick. I laughed so hard I almost peed my pants until I realized it was a real thing.
Yep.
And then every day when I would come home after work for like a month, each one by one, day by day, was dead.
Yeah.
It was traumatic for everybody and every fish involved. Okay.
Yeah, definitely every fish involved.
God, that was terrible.
Yeah, they were literally circling the drain.
Oh my God. I'll never forget that. It was terrible.
Yeah, that was
I was like, I wonder who's going to be dead today by the first, last ones,
Yeah. So that's why we've moved into, dogs. Dogs. We have dogs.
Oh,
They're still dumbasses half the time. And I feel like they're going to unalive themselves sometimes with the stupid shit that they do. But, we've been lucky so far.
Well, I had that one time. Monroe.
Oh, when she tried to go
jumped
flying?
out the window, yeah. And I grabbed her, just happened to grab her by the leash, and she had a vest on, thank God. Was hanging out the window of a moving truck and acting like she was pedaling.
Yeah, just running along at 60 mile an hour.
Oh, my God. Is life that bad with me that you're going to do that? Don't answer that, Jason.
I'm not saying a fucking word.
Okay, so everybody prepare yourself. I had a conversation with the man-child last night.
Yes, tell me about this that happened while I was passed the hell out.
He called me. He said he had told me some important things and some not important things, and we were just talking about, work and how bad it sucks to be a man-child and have bills and things like that.
The life of a 17-year-old.
Oof. If I know what I knew... Oh, I said that all backwards. If
That's
I
okay.
knew then what I know now, I would go back.
And
For sure.
do we need to do stroke protocols? Are you good?
No burnt toast.
Okay, all right.
I know what year it is. It's fine, guys.
Yeah.
He said, Mom, I got to tell you something. He goes, I accidentally did something to myself, and there's literally no coming back. And I'm like thinking it's going to be something really dumb, which it was, but it was so
Funny dumb.
Hilarious.
Funny dumb.
He said, so they've moved into a new home.
Right.
He said the new shower has a shower head that changes settings, and I had never messed with it before.
Mm-hmm.
He said I was using the shower wand. He said that's when it happened. I violated myself. He said I had it on, or somehow, I don't know if he turned it on purpose. I didn't ask. I didn't think to ask, honestly. I don't know that I want to ask.
No.
If he turned it on purposely or if he had hit it or what. But he goes, I hit myself in the butthole with it, and I thought I was dead.
He gave himself a little enema?
Yeah. And I have never laughed so hard in my life.
You should have woken me up for this phone call.
So listen, he's on speaker.
Right.
And my mom's mom, Brenda's down there.
Yeah.
She's sitting there on her phone with her readers on. She yells, ladies and gentlemen, do not come for me. It was Brenda that said it anyway. You need to tell him that every time he wants to have butt sex with his girlfriend, that's how she feels. She don't want to do none of that. And I'm like, mother, shut up. Don't give him any fucking ideas.
Right? He doesn't need any. I mean, there is the internet, so I'm sure he's got plenty.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, he's the one that introduced us and told us about Fruit Looping.
Yes.
So feel free to Google that, folks.
Yeah. And then I had to tell him what a Colorado campfire was.
Yeah.
Google that as well. So anyway, he's joking and he's laughing so hard at my jokes back with him. And I'm thinking, this is when we need a fucking camera crew.
Mm-hmm.
Because the three of us together, like not together, but on the phone with mom and I and the man-child, it was a fucking zoo. We were laughing so hard that the dogs thought people were trying to break in, I'm pretty sure.
So they started freaking out.
They started freaking out and barking. Like, it was so funny. He was wheezing on the other end of the phone. We were laughing so hard.
That's the good laugh. That's when you know.
Like, you're in this together.
Yeah.
You're in this together. You're laughing as a team. So anyway.
Go team.
Here we go. Yay. So then he goes on and we're talking about something else. And he said something about, I don't know how it got brought up, but we were talking about somebody robbing a house. I don't know if it was a movie. I don't know. Truly don't know. Obviously, I don't know. He said, I wonder if I could get him with the spray wand. And I was like, oh, so now you and the spray wand are best friends. Should we be concerned?
We've shifted. The dynamic has shifted.
And it just escalated so quickly that I was not prepared. And I started laughing so hard. And I said, I love you. My sleep meds have kicked in. I'm sorry about this weird relationship you now have with your shower head, but I have got to go to bed now. And he's like, okay, love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, my God. You should have woken me up. That's crazy.
If I had woke you up, though, like, he wouldn't have told it the same way. Like, I'm not saying.
I know.
But you know what I mean? Like, just the vibe would have been different. And I don't know. Like, I have never laughed so hard in my life when he told me that. And I said, well, that's what you have to look forward to if you ever want to go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was like, oh, Mom. And I was like, really? That's what you're going to owe Mommy about?
You know, the crazy thing, though, is like I think back because when we got together, he was, what, 8?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was 8 years old. And he would try and tell jokes and be funny.
Oh, my God. And he was terrible.
It was horrible.
And
we would try and teach him.
Well, and also, not that this is a surprise, I'm the type of parent that I'm looking at him and I go, that's not funny. I'm not going to sit there and pretend and laugh.
Right. We're not going to fake it.
Like, come on. You can come back with some better shit than that. And he has.
That's what I mean. Like, the progression over the years going from not having that sense of humor and not being able to deliver jokes and, you know, everything else. Now, all of a sudden, he's a straight fucking comedian.
Well, and his timing was terrible, too.
Yeah, that's gotten so much better.
Yeah, and I told him last night, I said, thank you for calling me. And I was like, telling me this. I said, my soul needed to laugh this hard.
Right.
It really did.
Yeah, there's nothing like having that, like, knockdown, drag out, can't fucking breathe, laugh.
Yeah, you and I do that every now and again.
Yep,
and
TikTok bedtime stories.
And it's always at night, and
Yep.
we get to laughing at each other so hard. And then we're both wheezing, and oh, it's a mess.
Yeah, TikTok bedtime stories. That's the best one.
Yes.
You know, we used to watch the, what's his face, Facts on Facts guy.
Yeah.
And that shit was hilarious.
I'll still say facts on facts every now and again.
Yeah, facts on facts. So, but no, that's, you know, it's interesting to kind of look back and think about those things, like how he's grown and, you know, matured and learned how to have that sense of humor. Like, it's really blossomed, which is really cool.
Right. And then today we were talking about prom. His prom's coming up.
Yeah.
And we're meeting his girlfriend for the first time. And
so could I wear like something crazy and like an eye patch and just like act all weird just to freak her out?
No, please don't.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just for me, because
All right.
I don't want to deal with
So
it.
I'll be semi-normal.
But he's like, we're so excited to see you guys. She's so excited to meet you. And like, I think I told you before, I said, you have warned her. And he was like, oh, yeah, she keeps telling me, your mom's going to be my bestie. And I'm like,
shit.
Oh, no. Her mom probably knows I'm crazy, too.
Yeah, well, it happens.
It does.
It
Here
happens.
I am. You know, but like I've always said, I just want him to turn out to be a decent human being.
Which I think he has.
And he is.
Yeah, I
So
think he really has.
I feel like I have reached parent enlightenment.
Parent enlightenment. So it's a Gandhi moment.
Let's not go that far.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's still pretty high for me, especially being me.
Now, here's the question. If you want the true enlightenment, the true Gandhi moment, does he still listen to the podcast?
He said him and her both do.
That is awesome.
And that's what I was saying the last time when I brought it up, because he brought up the podcast to me about something that I had said, and he was
Right.
laughing because he remembered it.
Right.
And then he was like, I can't wait until your next episode. And I'm like, bro, you lived with us. Like, you lived it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, this is the same shit day in and day out
Yeah,
you lived with.
it's nothing new. It's
Yeah.
nothing like a surprise. And I really, truly felt like, oh my God, as a parent, I have made it. Like,
Mhm.
my child thinks that my podcast episodes are cool enough to not only listen to,
Right.
but to call and want to contribute to
Right.
and listen to with his girlfriend. And now she listens to it.
Right.
Like, I really, truly, like, that melted my heart. And I don't have much of one.
And interestingly enough, like that in and of itself is more meaningful than if we gain 500 followers or anything along those lines on any of our social media or any of the other bullshit. Like,
Which, don't get me wrong, that'd be great. But
yeah, that would be
you
cool.
are correct.
Yeah,
It's not.
But that's the ultimate made it moment when somebody that like you have that connection with like truly connects in that way
Mhm.
and is like, this is important to me too. And I want to listen. I want to be a part of it. And that becomes, it's like next level. It
Mhm.
really becomes the next level.
Especially when it's your kid, you know?
Right. Yeah.
It's different, but
Yeah.
it's a good different.
Yeah. It's a very good different.
But so, ladies and gents, thank you for listening. If you've made it to this point, I told you we'd swing back around. But I just kind of wanted to explain my trauma, get that out of the way. Again, like, ask me anything. I'm more than happy to talk about anything. But I just wanted to get that out and own it and move forward.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to talk about those things. And it's nice, a little bit of backstory, because the people that do listen, they may know you, but may not know certain things or, certain backstories and whatnot. So I think it's important for them to understand who you are,
Right.
because things in life, traumas, good, bad, ugly, and different, it doesn't necessarily define you, but it does
Does shape who you are,
Yeah.
though, and how you look at life.
Yeah. Look at how you look at a lot of things.
Yes.
So, but are we going to cut it short this week?
I think so. Since it was so deep, I would like to.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah. Hopefully
Not
later.
literally.
Hopefully
Oh.
later. Yay!
I like how you like to wiggle that in there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm
All
done.
right.
We're done. And we out.
So just wanted to say thanks everybody for listening as usual. We are having a really good time doing this. And we just, like I said, wanted to say thank you, and hopefully we can gain some more of those lovely followers and likes and shares if you like what we're doing. So
Please.
yes, please join the Adventures of E party.
Partay.
So, all right. Well, we will talk soon, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Make sure to share and like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/The Adventures of E, and on YouTube at www.youtube.com/@Adventures of E. See you next time.